Well, hello, everybody, and welcome to the Fairview podcast. I'm your host, Jon Spallino, and today I have our kids director, Bek Jones, with us, and we're going to be talking about our Advent devotional guides and boxes. So real quick, if you're new with Fairview Church, every year we put out a devotional guide the last year, and this year we have kind of modified some of the curriculum from Wonder Inc. to create these devotional guides. But what's specific to it is these crafts that we do as well to engage discipleship at home. Now, if you're listening and maybe you don't want to participate in the kids' crafts portion, the devotionals are just as good. Wonder Inc. did a great job with the videos, which we'll talk about in a second. But the whole point of Advent is to prepare our hearts to celebrate that Jesus has come, Emmanuel, God with us. And so it is a way for us to prepare our hearts in this Christmas season. And we have a traditional guide in there as well if you wanted to do the candles at home and do kind of like a traditional Advent. Or if you choose to register and you want to do the kids' crafts at home, you can do that as well. So let's jump in a little bit. What is Advent box for our kids? What does that look like?
Yes, so I love to use the term, it is a gift from Miss Bek and Miss Noel and our Christmas special team, if you will, to our families. And so what is in it is going to be, you're going to have a specific craft for each week. And when you hear the word craft, parents, I don't want you to cringe. I try real hard for it not to just be a throwaway. But I have Lori Woodard in the years past and this year as well. She has taken the content of our Advent series and she has prayed over it. She has thought through it. And then she's collaborated with myself, Miss Noel, Pastor Jon. And this year we have something very special. And so I'm really excited. It is going to be a keepsake for your families. And I pray that it is something that your kids use for years to come because it's going to be something that they actually get to create and in some way get to end up playing with. And so can I tell them?
Go ahead, do it. I'm excited too.
You guys are going to be able to make a full manger scene with the stable, and you're going to actually have wooden pieces that you get to paint. Miss Lori has done a fantastic job of hand drawing these little baby, like little Mary and Joseph and the three wise men, and you have baby Jesus wrapped in swaddling clothes that you guys get to assemble and put together. But your kids will be able to actually interact with the Christmas story. They'll be able, parents, you're going to be able to assess your children of do they actually understand what the three wise men did? Do they understand Mary and Joseph and baby Jesus and why he came? And you're going to be able to ask questions as they're playing. And I think that's such an important piece in discipleship, is that our kids are able to play while they're experiencing the Christmas story. And so I'm excited. I think this is going to be really a beautiful thing for all ages. I think our fifth graders are going to thrive in the painting element. I think the little ones are going to thrive in really bringing characters to life and having personalities with them. And so I can't wait to see what our families do with this actual scene of the Christmas story and how parents are going to be able to have intentional conversations and ask intentional questions as they create together this wonderful Christmas story that means so much to us, right? Our Savior was born for us. Emmanuel came to be with us. And so I'm just excited to see what our families end up producing with these precious gifts.
Yeah, so please, once you're done making your major scene, please take a picture, send it to us. We'd love to see it. I think one of the big things for this Advent box and this manger scene is going to come to fruition on Christmas Eve when we want to ask our folks to reenact. Can you talk a little bit about what we're asking parents to do?
Absolutely. So before then, you're going to have kind of a prompt each week to cultivate part of the scene, right? And then on Christmas Eve, as Pastor Jon mentioned, we are going to give you guys some questions that we want you to ask, but we also want your kids to play out the Christmas scene. See if they've been tracking with you every single week as we are talking about beholding King Jesus. What does that look like? They've gathered all these bits and pieces throughout our Advent season. But on Christmas Eve, we really want to assess and see, have they retained that information? And parents, if they haven't, then that's where you come in. You're able to come alongside of them, shepherd your children, and help them engage in this play, if you will, of reenacting the Christmas story as a family. And I think that's something very special, very sweet. And I pray that you guys do this for years to come. I pray that this sits on your mantle at home, or you put it on the kids' table, or maybe it's in your playroom, and where your kids can reenact it. I envision Mason for whatever reason, and maybe it's just because I'm buddies with him, but I can see him in January still wanting to play with it while Amber's trying to put it away. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely.
And at that point, it may not be baby Jesus anymore. It may be some other fictional character. I don't know. But I envision them playing, or Jonathan for sure would be playing, and he would be making more of a story out of it because that's who he is, and I love that about him.
Yeah, so what we're asking parents to do is to reenact that story on Christmas Eve. And I do want to let you know, like, in years past, we've had great crafts, but these crafts may be a little bit more in depth or maybe more intentional. And so parents, this is a great time for you to engage with your child, to be able to sit down with them and help them through a craft. Painting may not be easy for your child at the younger ages, but, you just enjoy some time with them, have some fun, and, speak the story as you're creating the craft, and I think you're going to find a lot of blessing come out of it.
Absolutely. And can I speak to something? So parents, as you're hearing this, because you're going to hear this before Advent boxes are released and you're going to receive them, we are giving you everything. We're giving you everything. You might need a pen, maybe, or a pencil, but we're providing you the Elmer's glue. We're providing you the paint. We're providing you the paint brushes. This is something that I've tried to really think through. If I were a parent and I had littles, what would this look like? How can I make this a blessing to you? And the beautiful thing is we say, we want you to do it on Sundays, which is great. You can start off reading on Sunday, but if by chance Sunday night you guys have something, you have a sporting event or something, I don't know if actually kids sports are on Sunday nights, but or Monday night is heavier, then pick it back up on Tuesday. If you have multiple children, look at the craft for that week as you're assembling, specifically the manger or when you're painting. And I tried to space out the heavy weeks. So like week 1 and week 3 are a little bit heavy where you're creating the stable or shelter. If you have multiple children, then have them do various parts of that so that you don't have it so heavy on one kid. Does that make sense? Or heavy on one night. But you guys can space it out throughout the week. That's the beautiful thing about Advent and these crafts is like you can take the whole week to do it if that fits better for you. If you can do 15 minutes after dinner, that is super awesome. If by chance you're like, we have a full hour, then you can do it all together on a Sunday night. If you have 4 kids, they could paint. You could have them individually paint. One could paint Mary, one could paint Joseph, one could paint, 2 of the wise men. And then mom, if you're really gifted, this is for you as well. Or dad, if you love to do that, that can be for you as well.
That's awesome. Let's talk quickly. It's not just about the craft, it's about the content. So can you give me just a summary of what they're going to be learning like each night, maybe just tagline?
Absolutely. Okay, so a tagline, I'm going to read it as it's here in front of me. Excuse me, in my voice. So the first lesson that we're going to be covering, and mind you, parents, we are going to be doing a very snapshot orientation of this lesson in Camp Fairview that Sunday morning. But because we're practicing for our kids' Christmas choir on December 22nd, it literally is going to be maybe 30 minutes tops of this lesson. And so we're going to give you guys the opportunity to dive way deeper into this lesson with your kiddos after we've given them the introductory in Camp Fairview that Sunday morning. And so the first week is all about Daniel's dream. And mind you, we're thinking of beholding King Jesus or waiting for King Jesus. The wonder truth for that day is God will send an everlasting king. Okay, we'll be in Daniel 7 that first week. The next week, we're going to be looking at Elizabeth and Zechariah in Luke chapter 1. Our wonder truth is God prepares the way for Jesus. And so you guys are going to be able to dive in as a family, look at those 2 specific characters and how they were waiting to behold King Jesus in that season of life. And again, we're all waiting for something, right? We're all waiting to behold, hopefully, well, not hopefully, Jesus will be returning, but hopefully that day will be sooner rather than later, right? Week 3, we are looking at Mary specifically. And you guys, this week for your craft, you'll be painting Mary, Joseph, and the 3 wise men. But after you're done painting Mary, you guys can bring it back to this conversation or to this lesson, right? And use her as an illustration. But we'll be talking about Mary. We'll be again in Luke chapter 1, and Jesus is the promised king. We'll be discussing what that looks like. Why did God send an angel to talk to Mary about that? And parents, you guys will have the opportunity to really invest in your children in that way. Week 4 is all about Jesus' birth, and we're getting close to Christmas Day, you guys. We'll be in Luke chapter 2, which is very much the traditional passage that we go to, where God invites people to meet his son, Jesus. And then on Christmas Eve, we'll be talking about the Magi. And guess what? You have made the Magi. You've made the three wise men. And so we'll be in Matthew chapter 2 on Christmas Eve. And Jesus is the King that we worship. And I think what a sweet opportunity. Sometimes we just think that worship is all about singing. But I really think we can cultivate Christmas Eve service. And then you guys going home and reenacting the Christmas story with those pieces. I think that is also a beautiful act of worship as a family, as we honor King Jesus and as we behold him in all his glory.
Wonderful. Along with all this, in the devotional, you will have a short little devotional for the day. You will have a QR code that you can scan to get to a well-done video by Wonder Inc.
That's right.
Meant for kids. It's very engaging. There'll be some questions to ask there. And then on some of the days, there's actually, like on the day where we talk about God invites people to meet him, the prompt for the ending of that is consider someone that needs to hear Jesus in your own life, and what ways can we tell Jesus about them. So we're wanting to engage our kids in a missional outlook and evangelistic outlook as well. And so I hope this is a beautiful and wonderful guide this Advent season for our families in particular, and I just cannot wait to see those manger scenes and all the pictures. It's going to be awesome.
It's going to be great. And parents, seriously, post it on our FC Kids Facebook page or our Fairview Church's group page. Tag us in it. We want to see it. I think it's going to be really special.
And if I haven't said it already, thank you so much for you and your team as you prepared just so hard this craft in this Advent season. Thank you so much for taking care of our families really well.
Thank you, John. We love you guys, and it is a blessing to be able to produce these sweet little gifts for our families, and I pray that it is a blessing for your family. I pray that it sparks great conversations around the dinner table or around bedtime, or even as you're cultivating the crafts, and, just we want you to love Jesus the way that we love Jesus.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much for listening, everybody. We will see you next time on the Fairview Podcast.
Bye, friends.
Bye.